Before the pyramids were tourist sites, before the world knew Machu Picchu, there was a city in Africa made of stone, built without mortar, abandoned without war, and erased from history until now. In the heart of southern Africa, where granite hills rise like broken teeth from the earth, a city once stood. A city of stone. A city with no king, or so the world once thought. Long before Europeans etched borders on the map, Great Zimbabwe rose from the red soil of what is now southeastern Zimbabwe. Its stone walls, built without mortar, still stand today, defying time, weather, and every lie ever told about African civilization. The name Zimbabwe comes from the Shona phrase, Zimba Zamabwe, houses of stone. But this wasn't just a house, it was a kingdom, a marvel, a mystery. Great Zimbabwe began to grow in the 11th century and flourished until the 15th. At its peak, it spread across 7 square kilometers with 3 main sections, the hill complex, the great enclosure, and the valley ruins. Each held its own secrets. The hill complex, perched above the savannah, was likely a royal or spiritual sanctuary. Sacred caves echo with ritual, and ancient walls hug the rock like memory. From up there, the rulers looked down not just on land, but on history. Below, the great enclosure, the largest ancient structure south of the Sahara, curves like a serpent. Its outer wall, over 11 meters tall and 250 meters long, was built without a single drop of mortar, just stone, placed with precision. And in the valley, thousands lived, farmers, goldsmiths, potters, and priests. They forged tools, smelted gold, told stories under the stars. Great Zimbabwe wasn't just architecture, it was life, teeming and vibrant. It was a city pulsing with economy, religion, and royalty. Great Zimbabwe wasn't isolated. Archaeologists have found glass beads from India, porcelain from China, and coins from Arabia. This was a trading power, a kingdom of wealth. Its people journeyed far, their reputation known across the continent and overseas. Arab merchants who traveled the Swahili coast spoke in awe of a golden land inland, a city ruled by powerful kings, guarded by spirit birds, and paved in prosperity. They told tales of a people who lived in strength and silence, building with purpose and reverence. Among the ruins, 8 soapstone birds were discovered, each carved with unique crests and features. Some say they represent ancestors. Others say they're messengers between earth and sky. Their large eyes, their curved beaks, they are at once regal and mysterious. To the Shona, the bird is sacred. It still appears on Zimbabwe's flag. It is the voice of the ancestors, a symbol of a people who built not with myths, but with their own hands. To harm the birds, it's said, is to invite misfortune upon the land. In the late 19th century, European explorers found Great Zimbabwe and were stunned. But they weren't ready for the truth. Surely, they claimed, this must have been built by someone else. And so, the lies began. Phoenicians, Arabs, even lost Israelites. Anything but Africans. British colonizer Cecil Rhodes pushed this false narrative hard. He funded expeditions that deliberately ignored the oral traditions of the Shona. He wanted evidence of a superior race, not truth. But some scholars resisted. By the early 20th century, evidence became overwhelming. Great Zimbabwe was African, entirely, brilliantly. It changed how African history was told, or at least, it tried to. Even today, the wounds remain. Some of the soapstone birds were stolen and only returned decades later. But the stones never stopped standing. The ancestors never stopped watching. And yet, the fall came. Around the 15th century, Great Zimbabwe was mysteriously abandoned. Some say overgrazing or political shifts or the rise of rival powers like Mutapa. Others whisper of spiritual changes, that the ancestors grew silent. But no battles, no fires, no collapse, just silence, as if the stones themselves chose to sleep. Today, the ruins of Great Zimbabwe lie about 25 kilometers southeast of the modern-day city of Masvingo, Zimbabwe. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected by law and visited by thousands each year. Visitors walk through narrow stone passageways, stand within the towering walls of the great enclosure, and gaze upon the hill complex where kings once communed with ancestors. Tour guides, many of them local descendants of the Shona, speak with pride. The birds, the stones, the spirit of the builders, they are all still there. It is a place of reverence, learning, and identity. A monument not only to what was, but to what still is. The Shona say the birds of Great Zimbabwe still guard the land, that they speak in dreams, that the city, though in ruins, is not dead. It is waiting for a time when its children return not to mine its gold, but to remember its greatness. To walk through the corridors not as tourists, but as inheritors. It is said that the walls will one day rise again, not in stone, but in spirit. That every child who learns the story breathes life back into the city, and when that day comes, the world will no longer ask who built Great Zimbabwe. It will ask, why did we ever doubt it? Great Zimbabwe is not a myth. It is not a ruin. It is a memory carved in stone. It is Africa saying, we were always builders, we were always sovereign, we were always enough. And for those who listen, the stones are still speaking. For those who walk its paths, the walls still whisper. For those who forgot, the ancestors are waiting. And for those who never knew, now you do. Stories connect us to our past, shape our present, and guide our future. African Legends and Stories is more than just storytelling. It is a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, between tradition and modernity. Subscribe now and be part of this journey. Like, comment, and share to keep these legends alive. This is African Legends and Stories, where the past speaks and the future listens.